Hello everyone, I'm Tsunani. Welcome to a new video. Lightwish sent me a few products to test and I would love to show them to you. I've seen this little palette in a few other videos before and just had to try it. They also sent some paper, but we will get to that later. Of course, as always, I will share my honest thoughts about the products. For now, let's unbox the palette. This case already makes a really good impression. It feels high quality and I like to have a container or a box where I can carry everything with me. So what do we have here? That's already nice. 2 small swatch cards on watercolor paper. Then a little box with the paints, and here is the travel palette. There's even a small water container attached. I really like when everything is compact like this and you don't have to think too much about what to bring when you quickly pack your things for nature sketching. You can fold out 2 mixing areas here. And there's a third one up here. It can also be removed, although it's a bit hard to take it out. I will try that later again. You can attach the water container to the side here, which is really practical if you're holding the palette and sketching while standing. Everything is right there and compact, and yeah, you don't have to think about things. The palette is also very comfortable to hold. It's very lightweight since it's made of plastic. Let's take a look at the colors. They come in this separate container. I actually love that. It's perfect if you want to build your own palette or maybe bring a few extra colors along. I love that you have 2 boxes here, the palette and an extra one to create your own palettes. This is really cool. I really enjoy all these little boxes and containers where I can create my own small palettes. Let's take a closer look at the colors. I already know the Lightwish watercolors and I've already found them really good for the price. If you would like to see more Lightwish reviews, I can link them for you. But for now, let's swatch these and see what colors we get. The set includes lemon yellow, deep yellow, which I find really beautiful, vermilion, also a very nice vermilion, rose madder, also a very beautiful one, royal purple, ultramarine, which is a tiny bit granulating here, Prussian blue, emerald green, tree green, earth yellow, which is kind of a brownish ochre, burnt sienna, which is a bit brownish for a burnt sienna, but it's a nice brown, and the last one is carbon black. All in all, if we look at the colors, this is a wonderful set of basic colors. You have a cool and a warm yellow, a cool and a warm red, a cool and a warm blue, even a cool and a warm green, then 2 brown colors and a black. And believe me, you really don't need more than this to paint everything you want. As always, I find the Lightwish colors very well pigmented and vibrant. The ultramarine blue even seems to granulate, which makes me really happy. The burnt sienna being a bit browner than I'm used to this color, but it's okay. Unfortunately, I can't find any pigment information for this set right now, but if you're interested, I could look up in my larger sets from Lightwish where the pigments are all listed in and post it in the comments. Just let me know if you would like to have that. Now let's place the half pans into the palette. The nice thing is you can use this palette however you like and with watercolors you want. I will definitely take it outside like this and test it. The outdoor painting season has started again. I know many people paint outside in winter too, but I personally prefer less icy temperatures for that. Here's the paper that came with it. It's watercolor paper made from 100% cotton fibers. It has 300 GSM, so it's nice and thick. It's cold pressed. I usually prefer hot press paper, but this one only has a light texture, which feels really nice. I do like cold press paper when it's not too heavily textured. We will definitely test it also how colored pencil work on top later. There are 60 pieces of paper in here and they are glued together on two sides. The first page has a small dent, so let's test some color mixes on it. Since I mainly want to use this palette for nature sketching and similar things, let's mix some greens. And what can I say? The paper is wonderful, but I will test it more with a proper painting later. The greens you can mix here are also beautiful. That immediately inspires me to paint a small piece. Let's quickly clean the mixing area and then we will start with a small painting. The paper has a really nice format. I'm even thinking about using it for some kind of painting challenge. There are 60 sheets, which is quite a lot, I guess. You can do a lot with that, and I really like the square format. I will start by sketching my idea with a colorase pencil from Prismacolor. I thought a smaller nature spirit sitting in a blooming plant would be lovely. I really like nasturtiums and they fit perfectly into the color scheme I want to use. So my little creature is sitting under climbing nasturtiums. For this painting, I'm only using 3 colors: ultramarine, deep yellow and vermilion. I really love the green from the ultramarine and the deep yellow, which I mixed before, and the vermilion is perfect for the flowers. So I have a triad of warm primary colors. It's also nice for you to see that in the end, 3 colors are enough to create a full painting. First, I want to paint a wash of deep yellow over the entire paper, maybe with a bit of green here and there. That will give the painting a warm glow in the end. I also find that some cotton papers are easier to paint on once they've been wetted and dried again. I like to turn that into my first layer. The paper just absorbs the paint differently after it's been pre-wetted. And what I can say, the paper is just wonderful. It was so much fun to paint on. It's high quality cotton paper. I can paint however I want, even with a lot of water, and the paint spreads beautifully through the fibers. There are no ugly stains or anything like that. After the first layer dried, which took a while with 300 GSM cotton paper, you can always use a hairdryer if you want. I actually took a shower in the meantime, so I could continue painting right after. I started with the leaves, everything green in the painting. Ultramarine and deep yellow create this beautiful natural green. By adjusting the ratio of blue and yellow, I can mix different shades of green to fill the plant. I always make sure to work on different areas so that wet parts don't touch each other. Otherwise, the colors would just bleed together. I either wait a bit before working on neighboring areas or carefully leave a tiny gap between them. That was especially important for the flowers. If the vermilion had bled into the green, it would look muddy and less clean. I really enjoyed painting this piece. The colors mix beautifully and the motif just makes me happy. I hope it makes you happy too. Then everything had to dry again for a while. That's when I naturally end up taking coffee breaks. You can also work on 2 paintings at once and switch between them while the other one dries. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. In the meantime, I wanted to show you the dried mixes on this other sheet and also test the back side of the paper and swatch these 3 colors I used: the warm red, the warm blue, and the warm yellow. That's actually a bit unusual for me. I usually paint with cooler colors, especially I always choose a cooler blue. But I guess spring and sunshine are influencing my choices. By the way, both sides of the paper work equally well. There's no weird coating or anything on the back side. They even have the exact same texture. After everything dried, I added another layer with more detail. The leaf veins are lighter than the rest of the leaf, so I added another green layer around them. The flowers needed more definition in the center as well. And of course, our little nature spirit, I added shadows and a face. At this stage of the painting, it's always so easy to really sink into it and get lost in the details, as you will see in a moment when I start adding details to the flowers. I think you can see the veins of the petals of nasturtium flowers so beautifully. They really are such gorgeous flowers that always makes me happy as long as they are blooming. And they really do bloom through the entire beautiful season. It actually reminds me that I should get some seeds again and scatter them around my garden. I don't know if you knew this, but these plants are completely edible. I love their slightly peppery, cress-like taste and always chop up a few leaves to add to my salad, or I decorate with the beautiful flowers, which are actually really tasty as well. You can even pickle the seeds like capers. I also like to plant them next to my roses. They are supposed to protect against aphids. At least that's what people say. I always plant them there, and so far I haven't had any issues with those little animals. I tend to scatter the seeds everywhere. There's still a bit of space in the soil, and then you get these beautiful pops of orange blooming overall. Bees and bumblebees love them too. Everything is buzzing and humming around them in summer. Then, as always, I went over everything with colored pencils. I picked colors that match the painting, usually darker tones for the shadows and lighter ones for highlights. I love using a white colored pencil, or like here, a very light yellow as well. The colored pencils work really well on this lightly textured paper. I didn't have any problems adding fine details at all. Honestly, I'm really excited to use these lovely little sheets of paper for something special. At first, I was thinking about a drawing challenge, like my Spring Flush challenge that's currently running in April, but also about other nice series of small painting projects. I really enjoy working in small format. Overall, I had a really lovely painting experience with these products. If you're curious or have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will answer all of them. And now the painting is finished. I really love it. It has so much joy and the colors turned out beautifully. I love the paper. It makes me want to paint many more of these little pieces. I also really like the palette. I will leave it just as it is and put it straight into my bag with 1 or 2 brushes and a few pencils, so I always have it with me without having to think much when I want to paint outside. I think the color selection is really well done. It's a classic set. Everything you need is in there. The colors mix beautifully and it's super practical to have mixing areas and a water container included. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a like, maybe a little hype, and subscribe if you don't want to miss anything. I have a few more products I would like to test soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you to my wonderful patrons. You are truly amazing. Take care, you all. I will see you in the next video. Stay safe. Yours, Tsunami.